Good evening, everyone. We're glad you found your way here for our April the 8th Hamblen County Legislative Body Committee meetings. Before we started, for everyone to know that we have our local rules in the back of the room, and we do abide by Robert's Rules of Order. And before we get started, and committee, I need to ask on the front row, Ms. Noy, is that a recording device that you're holding? I can't see from here. It looks like a recording device. I wanted to ask that it was not a recording device. Thank you very much. Thank you. Enough said. Thank you. We will move right into Justice Center Public Safety Committee. Chairman Horner, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll call the Justice Center Public Safety Committee to order. If there's anyone wishing to address this committee, may do so at this time. You'll have 3 minutes. Seeing none. Item 3A, old business, there is none. Item 4A, Justice Center project update. Tony Pettit, Burwell Construction.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Let's run through the numbers. They're more boring than the pictures. So, current contract amount through change order number 18 is $94,560,271.16. Per the March application, completed and stored to date, is now $77,194,439.16. That is 81.64% complete. Total stored and complete. We still have $8,111,000 worth of stored material, either on-site or off-site. So that's part of that total. So when you back that out, the project itself, actually work complete, is 73%. Right at it. Let me run through the pictures. If I can operate this again. We're looking in the front door of the Justice Center, and this picture shows some precast being set around the coping, the main entrance. This will be the main entrance for public to come in, and they have business at the Justice Center. That's another shot of that. Another shot of the coping and stuff. This is a precast, pretty heavy material. Down below is, you can see sort of the canopies that are in place. That'll be covered up too. The yellow stuff's being replaced right now by brick, and that is a vapor barrier insulation quality there. This is a pretty interesting picture. I thought we'd hit it a little bit, but if it's been a while since you've seen the plans and stuff, you're looking at the east side of the building. Make sure I'm standing on the right side of it. The east side of the building, and where that tractor trailer truck is with the precast, that's going to be behind the secure gate. There'll be a gate there that you can get in. It's controlled by the security folks when they get in. If you hang a left right there at that cab, that's kind of an alleyway that the judges will be able to park in. And then they're able to get out of the public back behind a secure gate and walk in up to their judicial area. And right the low wall here in front of the cab up there, all that white space, that's kind of where the judges hang out. That's their offices. Jury deliberation is that corner, and it's behind the courtroom. Talking to the mayor, we're going to try to organize us a tour, and kind of the walls are going up, drywall's going up, and it's time for you guys to kind of look at it again. Still don't bring your dress shoes, bring your closed-toed shoes, and we'll give you a hard hat. But we'll get that scheduled to you. While we're still here, back behind that truck, behind the crane and to the right, on the right side of that, you'll see the two chillers that's going to keep us comfortable in the building. That concrete space to the left of that is where the electrical generators will go. as backup power, should we have a power failure. Activities going on right now is the block work on the interior is kind of wrapping up in the cell towers and stuff. Exterior brick is ongoing around the Justice Center. Architectural precast is wrapping up. We had a picture there showing them setting some retaining walls. Windows should be starting this week, and the rain didn't put them off a little bit. It wasn't supposed to rain today. We were supposed to have a eclipse, but that didn't happen. So interior detention area is going on, and they just detail after detail of that's being cleaned up and finished out. The Justice Center portion is metal studs are up. Drywall is started in there. We're beginning to see walls. People can come through. That's like a step time to go see the tour of it. You can kind of determine some spaces there. Roofing completion is completing. They're going to put the metal copings on, and some of the site work is still ongoing, like we saw retaining walls and electrical feeders for power poles and stuff being planned. Contract substantial completion is still August 1st is when it'll be substantially complete. There'll be some work ongoing, but that's when we can start with furniture and training and all the good stuff where we get to use it. Any questions on that?
If there's no questions, we'll go 4B, change order number 19.
Change order 19 is a change order for $38,597.95. I'll go through these. Potential change order number 68 is a loading dock roll-up door, and it changed. If you were astute enough to figure out in change order number 3, we took the power off that door. We got like a little less than $1,000 credit, $990 or something like that. And we did that back then because there was no power shown there and no security shown there. But when we had our security review with our security contractor, or their vendor, they highly recommended we put security on that door, which means we had to put the power back. So the $998 went out as it went in, but we also now had to add the security and electrical back into it. So that's how come that item become $3,168. RFI PCO number 73 is exterior stone soffit cladding. This was a decision we made during we have meetings every week, but every other week we have them in person on job site. And there was a detail there in the soffits where the windows are, where I felt like that we needed some less, we needed a material that was less maintenance on it than a exposed drywall sheathing. It'd be a fiberglass sheathing. But that would be an item that you had to paint year after year and take care of. And this allows you to have an aluminum soffit there. And we thought that was a better material to use in that soffit. So that amount was $20,666. Then we added some sealants, PCO 74. There's some ceilings in the two security areas that, talking with some end users, we felt like that they needed secure ceilings in those two rooms. In the other two rooms, we felt like we needed to be finished off with acoustical ceilings. The acoustical ceilings are not very expensive. The main cost of that is in the secure ceilings. But that was kind of an owner requested end user type deal, and it helps. And that was $18,620. Stop, interrupt me if you got any questions at all on any of these. And then PCO number 83, the contractor is reimbursing the county for the use of the gas heat for the office building they're using, the little house on the corner. So what's happened there is we've taken the gas since they took it over and kept those utility bills, and then prorated this through September, if I recall correctly, the other gas on this building. So we kind of looked at what last year's was for April, May, June, July, August, September, and then 6 months, and then prorated it back to settle this out as a change order. Continue to keep track of it, but it ought to be closed. So that's a reimbursement back to the county. So that totals $38,597.95. Any questions? Okay.
All right, if there's no more questions, I entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion to approve. Second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Ayes carried. That's all I have.
Thank you, Chairman Horner. We'll now move into the Finance Committee. Chairman Hahn, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, Chairman. Call the Finance Committee to order. Anyone wishing to address the Finance Committee may do so at this time.
My name's Ann Horner. I live at 1535 Panther Creek Road. I'd like to address 5D, which should have been named recommendation to rescind unfair vote to punish a citizen for exercising First Amendment rights. I think you should just own up to what you did in court, and in the future, understand how important that right is.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else wish to address the committee?
Rob Burke, 720 White Oak Circle. Chairman Hahn, commission members, today I stand in solidarity with those in our community who have chosen to voice their concerns, not just with words, but with wearable expressions. Recently at these commission meetings, individuals wore T-shirts and placards as a peaceful protest against the allocation of 100 million, who knows how much, millions of dollars of taxpayer money for the new jail. This act, viewed by many of you as contentious, is in fact a protected form of speech under the First Amendment to the Constitution. The First Amendment safeguards not only the words we speak, but also the symbols we choose to display, which includes messages worn on our clothing. But don't just take my word for it. The Supreme Court, in fact, has repeatedly upheld this aspect of free speech, recognizing that symbols such as placards can transform our attire into canvases of personal expression, embodying our beliefs and mobilizing those who encounter them. The Supreme Court has set this precedent with cases such as Tinker v. Des Moines, 1969, Texas v. Johnson, 1989, United States v. Eichmann, 1990, Cohen v. California, 1971, West Virginia State Board of Education v. Barnett, 1943. These cases collectively affirm that the realm of free speech, especially in the context of public disclosure, includes symbolic actions, ensuring citizens can freely express dissenting views, even in county commission meetings. These judicial precedents highlight a critical balance between individual liberty and public order, asserting that symbolic expression such as wearing a placard is a vital component of democratic discourse. Arguments may arise that a county commission meeting is not the place for such expressions. However, history and jurisprudence teach us otherwise. Again, see Cohen for that. These meetings, where decisions impacting every member of the community are debated and decided, are exactly where the First Amendment protections are most crucial. The individuals who wore placards were not doing so out of defiance, but as a declaration of their right and a plea for consideration of their viewpoints. In closing, I call upon this commission to view these wearable expressions just as the Supreme Court does, not as acts of disruption, but as a part of a long-standing tradition of civic engagement and dialogue protected by the highest law of the land. They are symbols of our democratic rights and responsibilities, underscoring that sometimes the most profound statements are made in silence. I ask that you do not view these actions as grounds for legal action, but as an opportunity to listen, understand, and perhaps rethink our collective interactions. It is through this open exchange of ideas that this body's commitment to not violating citizens' First Amendment rights ever again can lead to a stronger and more cohesive community. Thank you for your attention, your understanding, and your commitment to upholding the principles that define us as a free society.
Thank you for your comments. We have anyone else that wishes to address the committee?
Freedom of speech. Not only once, but twice you violated it. Twice. You wouldn't like it if we did that to you. This is America. We're supposed to be free, not dictated to, and not lied to about contracts.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else wishes to address the Finance Committee?
Linda Noe, 2343 Joe Stevens Road. Over the past year, 2 years, I've come to realize more than ever before that the most important right we have in this country is embodied in the First Amendment. I started out concerned more about public documents, open meetings, and now with what began in 2020, when Mr. Shipley ordering shirts turned inside out before you could even come to the meeting, an open meeting, followed by what we thought was an apology, and I'm speaking on behalf of COAG, Citizens for Open and Accountable Government. He apologized, read his apology. The commission at that time, some of you who were on it, censored Mr. Shipley for what he did. And it seemed like, okay, now there's a realization about the First Amendment. And then less than a year later, now Commissioner Green was berated by Mr. Shipley and commissioners who voted 9-4 to have the county attorney file a suit against, and this was in a Finance Committee meeting, but it was not a Finance Committee vote. It was the full commission that voted. And that was enough. You had Mr. Shipley say he had violated the First Amendment, and then we found out he lied when he said that, because he later denied violating the First Amendment. And then he led everybody and joined right in. Yeah, let's sue those people. But you didn't file suit. And I think Mr. Neesmith will be able to explain why that happened. And Mr. Britton could if he would. But it's time to recognize the First Amendment is supreme. And it's over your rules or anybody's rules. So please don't sit here and make excuses when you get into this like you've done before. Oh, we voted to sue, but we didn't sue. Like that's noble. That wasn't noble. That was because somebody told you you were in trouble if you tried to sue on that. And so it took citizens, 7 citizens, to stand up and say, enough is enough. the First Amendment is supreme. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Noy. Anyone else wish to address the committee? I see none. Move down into new business. Item 5A, ITB 2024 O2 storage and filing systems for the new Justice Center. Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Chairman, over the last couple of months, we've been going through the procurement process of filing systems for the new Justice Center, and so we opened bids on the project and received 4 proposals, and we're recommending that we split the work. And the project includes buying a new high-density filing system, which is a filing system that will be used in the circuit court clerk's records area, which is the filing system that is on wheels that can really store a lot of documents. Then there's the open shelving, which will be in her office, in her filing areas in her office. And then we're moving the high-density filing system that's at the health department, repurposing it and using it for jail records. And then also the clerk has some open shelving that is in storage upstairs at the existing Justice Center, and we'll be using that. So it's not all new shelving, but a lot of it is. So our recommendation today is, one, we recommend that Tab Office Environment, which is a company we've used before to relocate the high-density shelving system, that we award the relocation of that system from the Health Department to the Justice Center for $10,685. And then the new storage system and the filing systems be awarded to Patterson Pope for $177,725. And all those expenses are included in the furnitures, fixtures, and equipment budget within the big budget for the project. That's our recommendation.
Do I have a motion to accept?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Doty, do I have a second? Was it Mr. Long? Do we have any questions or comments for the mayor? Yes, Ms. Howell.
Yes, sir, thank you. Okay, so we're taking from the health department. Okay, and all those little shot records, we're going to leave them in a shoebox, and we're going to take their filing.
They're all electronic.
Oh, wow.
All their records are electronic now, so they're not using the filing system now.
Okay, so you're taking them. So will they need new ones in their new?
It's all electronic.
Oh, my God. All right, but we haven't gotten electronic in our clerk's office, is that?
Not completely. No.
And so they are happy to get rid of them.
The health department, absolutely.
Ah, okay. And then we're gonna buy some more kind of like that. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Very good. Anyone else? Comment or question? Okay, we'll take a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item 5B, renewal of the Hamblen County Sheriff's Department slip and mooring lease agreement with Cherokee Boat Dock LLC. Sheriff's on the run. There he is. Mr. Sheriff Mullins.
Just put up $10 a month.
Comes out of your pocket. Anything to add to that? Okay, do I have a motion to accept? Mr. Long, do I have a second? Mr. Richardson. Any questions for Sheriff Mullins? Ms. Howell?
Yes, sir, thank you. I guess I was kind of interested in this renewal thing. Did we not have an issue the last time about the renewal? Yeah, is that, something about, are we on the hook or something like that?
That was for the lease of our property to the Hamblen County boat dock, not the slip. That was when you were thinking indemnify.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a different subject.
Okay. Okay, thank you, thank you.
Clear? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Anyone else?
Chairman Hall.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Green.
I'm curious as to who wrote the contract for this. Was it our attorney, was it theirs? Their attorney wrote the contract? Did our attorney review the contract? I didn't hear him, I'm sorry.
I can bring you a copy of that document.
My question was, though, did their attorney prepare it or did our attorney prepare it?
Their attorney.
Before me, I have no idea. I
I
assume
think
that their
they said
attorney
it's their attorney.
prepared it.
Did our attorney review it, is the next question.
Mr. Capps, did you review that?
I have not.
Okay, he has
I
not.
will.
He will.
Somebody asked me to, I will definitely look at it.
Well, please do.
Chairman Hahn,
Yes.
does anyone know if it's it's the same lease that we've had year after year in,
We've probably had it 7, 8 years.
yes. That said,
We drafted the original lease. This is just an amendment to that.
Anyone else have any questions?
Chairman Hahn,
Ms. Green?
I apologize, sir. I know in the other contract, there was some clauses added under the tenant's indemnity, and I noticed it's not in this one. So I was curious if we're gonna be on the hook with this one to the extent of our liability like we were told you would be on the other one.
Can you address that, Mr. Capps?
Mr. Hall, Ms. Green, I do not have any information about what we're talking about right now, other than what we've done in the past. This is something completely new to me, and I can't really comment on it unless I've had an opportunity.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mr. Hahn,
Yes, ma'am.
do we really need to approve something that we don't know the answer to that about?
Well, we've used it for the last 7 years.
That wasn't my question, sir.
Well, that's my indirect answer. It's not for me to say, it's for the commission to say by vote.
But we need to protect the county.
That's what we're here for. Yes, sir. Mr. Long?
I would have to check. The only thing I was aware of is they contacted us this one up about.
April 1st through March
This is our
31st.
annual terms, April 1st through March 31st, so it's already run out.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Richardson.
Did you say this is we originally we originally drafted the document?
Reviewed and revised earlier lease, and again, I haven't seen that in many months, but I was able to revisit that and see if there's anything that deserves a review by this body. If I recall, the indemnity language, we struck it. That's what Ms. Green is concerned about. We struck that language, as I recall, and there's no new indemnity language in what I see in my hand right now. I don't know other than that, but I can certainly look at it and let everybody know.
Okay. Ms. Howell?
Yes, sir, thank you. Since this was due April 1, and here we are on the 8th, and we're still pondering, we can ponder until next week, and you'll have time to, our attorney would have time to review.
Yeah.
So, if, I think
We've done spent
another week of pondering is in order.
What I see before me, Commissioner Howell, does not have anything to do with the county. It's entirely an operational deal with the people that are operating the boat.
Chairman Hahn,
Yes,
if you
Mr.
were to
Chairman.
pass through committee, we can always take this up in our commission meeting and discuss further.
That's what I'm thinking. Unless somebody wants to pose the table it. which no one has. Anyone else have a question? Okay. I'll look for a motion to pass.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Doty, do I have a second?
We already have it.
Oh, we already did, of course we did, because we did it before we discussed. Thank you, Mr. Richards. So we'll call for a vote. All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Any opposed?
Yes. I mean, I'm opposed, no, or whatever.
Nay.
Thank you, that.
Motion passes. Move down to item 5C, Employee Benefits Consultant, Broker RFP. Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Chairman, over the last month to 6 weeks, we've been going through a procurement process for consulting services and brokerage services for employee benefits. Consulting services for our self-insured health insurance plan, the consultant that we have, and the way we use that service is they help us shape our plan and adjust it based on market conditions. So we've had the same consultant for close to 10 years. And it's Cheryl Morgan. And then on the employee benefit side, this is the benefits that are the optional benefits that employees pay themselves. And so Mark III has been providing those to us for the past 10 years. So we went through an RFP process. We had 6 firms respond. We had a committee that ranked them. We interviewed the top 3, and then after checking some references, the recommendation from the committee is that the county hire Mark III to handle both the health insurance consulting and the optional benefit plan for employees. And that's our recommendation.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Harville. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Richardson. Do I have any questions for the mayor?
Just one thing, if in the motion as it's written, is that it would be a recommendation or authorization to give me the authority to negotiate a contract and then bring it back in May for the commission to adopt.
Let's vote the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Now, in that, Chairman Hunt, do we need to add that verbiage that he just asked? That we,
I don't think we ever have we? I have one of the things when he was
Mayor, do you need that in a motion?
Approve their selection and authorize me to address,
You do?
negotiate the contract.
We'll make a second motion.
I think so.
I will change my original motion to reflect that.
There you go.
Okay, thank you.
Let's revote.
All right.
And I'll change my second to reflect that.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. So we are now voting to accept this with the mayor as our spokesperson and negotiate the contract. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item 5D, recommendation to rescind Finance Committee action of September 13th, 2021. Mr. Mayor.
The, later this month, there's going to be a trial of what's been called the placard lawsuit, dealing from some actions back in September of 2021. And so in preparation for the lawsuit, the attorney representing us has requested that the commission rescind the Finance Committee action on September 13th. That's the attorney representing us has asked that of the committee.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Long, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second, Mr. Richardson. Do we have any discussion or questions? Mr. Neesmith.
If you rescind this, a vote that was taken September 2021, on that date, 2021, there were several items on that vote. About 3 or 4 pages of it. In fact, we voted to give the workers, garbage people and truck drivers an hour. That's on that thing. Are you gonna rescind everything that's on this thing? You've given it to me. It's about 3 or 4 pages of it.
The minute.
Are you gonna spot rescind?
No. The minutes referring, the action referring to the, Chairman Shipley made the motion to refer to the county attorney to request file a lawsuit with any visitor wishing to address the committee that would not remove the placard. And that vote passed. That's the vote that he's asked us to rescind. That's the only action.
Well, I see what he's doing. He's wanting to get rid of it before it goes to court, or if he wouldn't ask for it if he didn't. So, but I see that day when this was voted on, there was 9 people for it and 4 people against it.
Well, what exactly do you want?
What I'm saying is, are you going to rescind everything on
No,
this?
he just said that. No.
He don't, it's not written there. It's not written anywhere, Bobby. Show me where it's written.
He's rescinding the vote.
He's rescinding item, what was it, item, I don't have the
5D.
number on it. This is it, he's rescinding this vote.
Yeah, just that one.
And the minutes are in your packet for you to know what we're talking about. Because some of you weren't on the commission at the time.
Ms. Green?
Commissioner Hahn, when this came about, we had 9 folks of the whole commission, not just the finance committee, that voted for that. Now, several of those folks are still on this commission, and it was simply because they didn't like what the shirt said. And I was the, just a moment, sir, I was the one that was wearing the shirt. Now, that was freedom of speech, and most people do not realize that that's exactly what it is. It should have been clarified, it should have been corrected.
And we're trying to do that now.
Well, people need to understand exactly what it was.
I think
And
I think it's been made clear.
Well,
So-
I had several calls when they picked this packet up that they didn't understand what it was, and they asked what it was. So I'm just making it quite plain. It was for the freedom of speech of what was on the shirts at the time. And in fact, my shirt said, "Save 30 million, renovate the jail," which shouldn't have offended anybody, because that's taxpayer dollars. That's not just my dollar, that's your dollar too, sir.
Chairman,
Okay.
Mr. Doty?
But once Ms. Green's done.
Would you let me finish, please,
Oh, I
sir?
thought you were done. I do apologize. Go
Thank you,
ahead.
sir. I accept your apology. But people need to know, Chairman Hahn, exactly what this is about. So many of the new commissioners have no idea
Oh, I think
that
they
this
do.
vote is in regard to the shirts taken and to the crushing of freedom of speech by this commission. And it wasn't the first time, it was the second time that it happened. The first time, Chairman Shipley said he would not do that again. That's what he promised. And then 11 months later, he did the same thing again.
Okay.
But we need to correct it, but you need to ensure that it never happens again. The citizens should be welcome in Hamblen County.
We're working to correct it. I think everybody's clear what took place. Now, Mr. Doty, you may speak.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First off, I don't think anybody that's on this commission is not aware of, because it's never been dropped. It's been brought up every few months, even after we made a formal declaration from the chair that we were not seeking to sue anyone. It was discussed. Everybody here knows. I voted no on that day. I was one of the ones that's here now that did vote no. We have addressed it time and time and time and time and time again, but this needs to happen, and when it does, it's not going to end then, because it's going to be drug out again and again and again and again and again. It's the same as someone that promised us that when we put cameras in this room and recorded it and put it on our website, that they would no longer bring a camera to the front row of the commission, that they would move to the back. It's going to continue to be brought up, but it does need to happen. It needs to be stricken and removed. That way, we have shown that that is a move that this body feels is necessary. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Doty. Ms. Howell?
Yes, sir. I wasn't there when the, but it just doesn't pass the smell test. It just to rescind and, here we are, and that was in 21. And, so I just needed to say that out loud. Thank you, sir.
Chairman Hahn?
Yes, Mr. Cutshaw.
So we've been asked, and actually several folks have asked us to rescind this. They've asked from time to time again, are you going to bring it up and sue the citizens? Well, this answers that question by taking it from the record. This one particular one was not on T-shirts, it was on a placard.
Right.
That's what this one was, and this will eliminate that committee action, that we will not sue the citizens. Just as Commissioner Doty brought up, we had taken a statement from this chair during the time that I've been chair, that we will not sue the citizens over this. And we've stated that more than once. Thank you.
Thank you for the clarification. Mr. Doty, one more time.
I have one question, and maybe our county attorney can address this. Can we take action in the Finance Committee of a full commission vote that was back then? Because it was a full commission vote.
Jody, that's a good question. If it was a vote of the full commission, then I would say the finance committee has to have a full commission vote on this issue.
Is that parliamentary procedure?
It could be viewed that, in my opinion,
Well,
that
I
it was
think we
out of
can
order.
we will have the full commission vote on it in the regular meeting. We will just move it forward in committee so that it can.
To my understanding, there was enough members of the Finance Committee on that vote that it would have passed. So it never made its way to the commission. And I, for one, have never asked or had no explanation why it didn't move forward.
Do we have any other questions or comments? We'll vote this motion then. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm opposed.
I'm sorry.
No, nay.
Nay.
Forget it.
Ms. Howell opposes. Thank you. Motion passes. Number 5E, 1, Hamblen County Department of Education School Nutrition Program Budget Amendment Number 2, an increase of $242,282.29. Ms. Antrican.
This budget amendment is a supply chain assistance grant from the USDA, and we've had several of these over the last couple of years since COVID. It's intended to assist our program with the price increases and issues in getting materials that we need in that program. There's no match or requirement on our end other than it has to be spent on food. And the second part, I apologize, no new money, but just moving $5,000 from cafeteria personnel to substitute wages to cover that through the end of the year. Be happy to answer any questions on that.
Do we have a motion to accept?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Doty, do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Howell?
Yes, sir.
Any questions of Ms. Antrican? Mr. Doty?
Not a question, just a statement. Again, I want to thank you guys. These grants don't come hunting you. You have to go hunting them. And the fact that your diligence has, again, saved this county $250,000. I want to thank you for that.
I'll second that. Very good. Okay, all in favor, let's signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion does pass. Item 5B2, Hamblen County Department of Education Budget Amendment Number 6, an increase of $97,860.81. Ms. Hampton.
This amendment is for the general fund, and it consists of 3 grants. A $7,500 grant from the Industrial Development Board for our vocational CTE program to allow our teachers to do externships this summer. The second is $37,600 from the U-Trust organization, and this allows us to provide funding for the national beta competition this summer for middle schools, student and staff recognition, and the middle school scholars banquet. And the last part, $52,760, is a grant from the state. We already had the main grant for the public school safety grant, but they provided an additional allocation for the same purpose, safety-related equipment for the schools.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Harville has a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Howell, second. Any questions for Ms. Antrican? Ms. Howell?
Yes, sir, thank you. Just a comment. I remember you were telling me earlier about the one about where the teachers go into the industry. I remember vividly when our group of teachers went in, and it was eye-opening, and what a lovely thing.
Interesting.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Very
Thank
much.
you.
I remember those days, like they were 2 decades ago.
Chairman Hahn,
Ms. Green?
I'd like to congratulate you. You just take care of our kids, and that's one of the most important assets we have in Hamblen County.
Okay. Nobody else? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Antrican. Item 5E3, Fund 101, Drug Court, $3,000. Ms. Amanda Hale.
The budget amendment before you for drug court is to recognize an additional $3,000 that we're anticipating to receive from the state for the drug court grant. Ms. Knight has asked that that $3,000 go towards salary increase for David Georges, which is her attendant in the drug court. And so the budget amendment would increase the salary line and associated payroll lines to cover that $3,000.
What is his title?
Case manager.
Case manager. Very good.
I'm sorry.
Do we have a motion?
Make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Long, do I have a second? Mr. Huntsman, thank you, sir. Any questions for Ms. Hale? Very good. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 5E4, Fund 101, Election Commission, $2,402.59. Ms. Hale?
The Election Commission applied for and received a grant through the Help America Vote Act, and this is the amount of funds that we have received, and they would like the money applied to their office equipment line to purchase some additional supplies.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Cutchild, do I have a second?
Second. Mike.
Mr. Richardson? Any further questions for Ms. Hale? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 5E5, Fund 101, Jail, $102,000.
This budget amendment is to move $102,000 from the guard line where there is excess funds to cover overtime, evaluation and testing, building repair and maintenance, and then custodial supplies. That expenses will be over budget by the end of the year. And this budget amendment will take care of those the lines over, but move everything from the guard. So it's no new money, just reallocating.
Do I have a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Doty, do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Howell, thank you very much. Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Howell?
So I'm assuming that's big overtime. I'm assuming is we don't have enough employees or,
That's not all overtime.
oh, well, there was 70,000 that was overtime. The big number was overtime.
Year. That's for the remainder of the year.
Oh, wow.
The jail hasn't been fully staffed in several years, and this tends to be a reoccurring budget amendment each year.
Okay, thank
We
you.
have to come back and ask for more overtime because there's not enough full-time guards to, the ones that are there having to work over to pick up the
Yes.
slack.
Bless their hearts. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 5E6, Fund 122, Drug Control Fund, $48,000.
Back in January, the narcotics officers had an accident. One of their vehicles related to the weather when the snow came and totaled the vehicle. And we received $27,934, I think is what, in insurance proceeds from that totaled vehicle. The new vehicle they're asking to buy is $48,000. So the difference in what the insurance proceeds were and then what the expense of the vehicle, the new one is, will come out of their fund balance.
Do I have a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Doty, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Cutshaw, thank you, sir. Any questions for Ms. Hale? All right, let's vote the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Hale. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Hahn. Now we will move into the Personnel Committee. Chairman Doty, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I want to ask a question about the expenditure. When does that come up?
Well, the Finance Committee just closed. What can we help you with?
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Dunn.
You're fine, ma'am.
Mr. Hahn, I didn't realize, I thought this would come up. There was something in there about Southern Health Partners. Yeah, and they, the same amount of money 1 week apart, 58,000, I was just curious.
Those are monthly bills, and we receive that, they provide me and they that on the jail.
Okay,
And, my guess is one of them was paid later than
okay. Thank you for that clarification, thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Glad we got it.
Okay.
Chairman Doty, you're recognized, Personnel Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll reconvene the Personnel Committee meeting. Anyone wishing to address this committee, please step forward. Seeing none, move forward. Old business, we have none. New business, we have approval of military pay submissions. We have one associate listed. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item 4B is approval of longevity pay submissions, and we have 3 associates there. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
So moved, Mr. Warner. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Holmes. Any discussion on this matter? Hearing none. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. With no items of interest, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Doty. We will now call on Chairman Richardson of the Public Services Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Call the Public Services Committee to order. Any visitors wishing to address the committee can at this time. They have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, we'll go on. Item 3A, no old business. Item 4A, resolution to amend the zoning map of Hamblen County, Tennessee by rezoning District 03, tax map 011, parcel 047.07, 5874 Fall Creek Dock Road, Russellville, Tennessee, 37860, from C1 commercial to R1 residential.
Yes, sir, as you just stated, this is a request staff did receive to rezone this property from C1 to R1, the rural residential district. The property was previously zoned C1 in 2001 in order to place a small engine repair shop. However, the current owners no longer wish to utilize this for commercial. They are wanting to build a house at this location, and housing residential uses are not permitted in the C1 district. However, it is surrounded solely by R1. There's nothing, to my knowledge, outside this former business that's not zoned residential nor used for residential uses. It is 1.6 acres in size. Staff sees no issue with this rezoning. It's consistent with the nearby land uses and recommends approval. And Planning Commission did vote last week also in support of this request.
Okay, thank you, sir. We have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Cutchall, second by Mr. Long. Any discussion?
I have one question.
Go ahead.
Josh, how long has that been C1?
Per notes I got from Tina Whitaker, 2001, it was zoned C1, so 23 years roughly.
Okay, it's just curious that it was surrounded by R1 at the time.
Yeah, I mean, that obviously predates me by several years. I've not seen the report. I just saw the reason given was in order to place this commercial small engine repair in that garage at that location.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, they do understand that it cannot go
Yes.
back to C1.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion? If not, we'll call the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by like sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Item 4B, surplus items from EMA, Chris Bell.
Mr. Chairman, before you have a memo that I requested, we had some old equipment, UHF, VHF repeater from our old legacy system when we replaced it with our new TACAN system. Those have been sitting. About a month ago, I had the opportunity to help Claiborne County with some active shooter tabletop. During that time, one of their weaknesses is they have many gaps in their communication. They're still on UHF, VHF. At that point, because this was purchased with Homeland Security grant funds, I reached out to our Homeland Security, did process paperwork. They approved it for us to surplus it and move it to Claiborne County, but because there were certain funds, of course, it's 75-25 on the grant, that I need to come before you also and see if you would approve us to surplus that to Claiborne County.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion?
Yeah, I moved to do that.
Okay, motion by Ms. Howell. We have a second. Commissioner Long. Any discussion, any questions? Ms. Howell.
Just the comment that here we are, you know, we're here and other counties are here. And other counties come into Hamblen County and they say, oh my goodness, what are you guys doing? Why can't we be doing like you guys are doing? You're doing an awesome job. Every other week, somebody comes in and says, we want to see how you're doing this, how you're doing that. Here we are. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Any other questions? If not, we'll call the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed with a like sign. The motion carries. Thank you, Chris. Item 4C, surplus items from Cherokee Park. Mayor?
These are two items. One is a Polaris four-wheeler at Cherokee Park that we purchased from the rescue squad a few years ago. It no longer meets our needs, and so we just need to surplus it and then sell it. And then there's a 2007 golf cart that is worn out. It doesn't work anymore. So we just need to surplus it and get what we can for it. Thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Commissioner Ahern with a
Second.
motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Walker, a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by like sign. The motion carries. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Richardson. We shall now move into the Bulk Waste Study Committee. Chairman Horner, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll call the Bulk Waste Study Committee to order. Is anyone wishing to address may do so at this time. Seeing none, item 4A, new business, bulk waste update from Tommy McKinney, our Codes Enforcement Officer.
Mr. Chairman, Commission. We are 30 weeks into the enforcement of the bulk waste regulations, and everything seems to be going really well. As of today's date, we have 320 total violations. 95% of those have been resolved. Attorney Capps and myself have had one court case on that, and it eventually was dismissed. He paid the citation and the court cost on that. So that's the only one we've had to have so far, which is really, really good. The remaining 5% are still, most of them are still recent. Nothing, kind of holding out or anything on those. We have a couple that are post office boxes that I've not been able to get actually a person to, but Mr. Poole seems to think that everything's going good, and I get really good reports from the guys at the highway department. So I think this regulation seems to be working really well. The public seems to be really, really behind us on it because of, some of the things that they've been seeing, some of the results that they've been seeing. So.
Do you have a lot of the citizens calling you and telling you, hey, this is here and this is here?
In our hotline, the public is utilizing the hotline, the bulk waste hotline, very much so. And I've actually had a couple of them say, thank you for what you all are doing. So that's good too. So.
Yeah. We are working with the Sheriff's Department too to put cameras in hot spots, as a deterrent mostly.
Wow.
But people are still going to throw stuff out everywhere. I personally picked up 20 tires within a mile of my house Friday, but it was free tire day. But it was free tire day. Otherwise, they charge you to take them. So, but anyway, Anyone else have any questions?
Wouldn't it have been good if we'd have implemented this about 15 years ago if it's going so smooth now? For doing nothing for 15 years? And we do write a few letters and everything's going great. Isn't that amazing? How we doing on our campers?
I don't have any of that information with me right now, Mr. Smith.
I think so. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, I just want to say thank you. You got a thorough job there. You're doing a good job.
Yep. Thank you, Commissioner.
Good job.
Chairman Horner, I have a question. I've been following a post on Facebook, a little lady that got a letter, and there was nobody living at the camper. She had her car there, where she basically made it look like somebody was there to keep
Point
somebody.
of order, Wes, this is not about the campers.
That's
My apologies, thank you.
right.
Anyone else? Again, thank you for what you do.
Thank you all.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Horner. We shall now recognize the Calendar and Rules Committee. Chairman Doty, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I call the Calendar and Rules Committee meeting to order. Do I have anyone wishing to address this committee? Seeing none. Old business, we have none. Item 4A, review of the regular calendar items. The one change that we have is more of an addition, which is, if you look at that, to item 10C, which is in Finance Committee, we add language to that one, giving the mayor authority to negotiate on our behalf. And I'm looking for a motion to approve with that addition.
So moved.
Ms. Ahern, thank you. Do I have a second? Second. Second, Mr. Horner. Thank you, Mr. Horner. Do I have any discussion?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you. Is this when we bring up, you know, about noise or dogs or stuff like that, or the, let's see what I'm written down. You know, the J turns that are coming up, when do we do?
Chairman Doty.
Yes. Are you the chairman?
Okay.
Chairman Howe.
Yes, sir.
I mean, Commissioner Howe, I'm sorry. We should have taken that question up during Public Services Committee.
Okay, thank you.
If that's what you need tonight, we can revisit that in just a moment.
Yes, sir.
Any more discussion on the matter? We'll call for the vote. All those in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4B is review of the consent calendar items. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Holland, thank you. Second. Second, Mr. Horner. Is there any discussion on these matters? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Due to the request of Commissioner Howe, I'm going to ask Chairman Richardson, please, to open your committee. Well, you just asked, and I didn't want to walk away.
You did. Call the Public Services Committee back to order. Commissioner Howe.
Yes, thank you
Give
very
you the
much.
table.
Golly, thank you. We have certainly cleaned up some garbage because of letters, and we said, by golly, we're not having it. And I'd like to have something along that line with dogs. We have as much trash as we had, we've got that many dogs that run around and scare people and make them keep their children inside. So that's something I would like to bring up. And I was looking through the budget about, they had requested $25,000 for the Humane Society. Why don't we have, you know, when you get that call and they'll say, Miss Howell, they didn't come by and get this dog because they don't have enough room. By golly, why don't we have enough room to pick up these dogs that are a nuisance? So that's big on my thing. The other thing is, it occurred to me that all of us have been in the traffic line, and here is this guy is, who knows where he is, but by golly, you're aware of him because his radio is 10 times more than, and you can't go anywhere. You're going, I am ready for that light to turn green so I can get away from this guy. Please, I hope he turns. We can get away from that sound, but sound penetrates. And it occurred to me that all of us, when we're out in Morristown and we hear that, woo, 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 we're gonna say, oh my golly, I better be looking in my mirrors because somebody is asking for help and help is on the way. Sound penetrates. Our car, our radio, we're on the phone, and by golly, we hear that ambulance or fire truck or whatever. You don't have to see it. Same thing with the train. You hear that ding, 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 and you're going, okay, let's see, how close am I to and even before the train crosses, and the arms fall down, you're aware of a train coming through. That's just living here in town. When we passed that 20,000, I can't remember, Mr. Neesmith, you'll remember, for those J turns. And every time I come over that hill and I think of a mother, a teacher, a grandmother who's picking up grandkids, coming out of there, going to a J-turn after the traffic has come down the hill. Now, it looks good on paper where everything is flat, but when you look at the territory where we're gonna have a J-turn, and here's another J-turn, and oh, they're coming down the hill. That's scary business, and we don't wanna have a red light on a state road. I don't know why, but there is no little boy, there's no little girl, there's no teacher, there's no cafeteria worker that is worth losing because, well, we just don't want to put a light on. And I don't understand why we can't do one of those 50, 100 yards out and say, school zone, and it's coming over the hill, and why we can't use sound, or really why we can't use a light before it's too late. But I also want to hammer away at this sound business because it does penetrate. Fortunately, the guy who's got the radio up 10 times too loud is moving. The people behind the red barn are not moving. That sound does not. It is penetrating. It is penetrating their house, their being, their lives, their peace. That's what I need to say, Mr. Richardson. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comment or question?
Commissioner Richardson.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to add my voice too, Commissioner House. We saw some results with the waste. Why in God's name can't we do something about the noise and the rest of it? It's been kicked around. Now, if I lived down there, I don't know what I'd do. But we need to do something to take care of those citizens. I've heard people say that all the way up to Carlson Ford they can hear it. And that's a little distance up through there. We need to put something in action. We played with it, not done anything. And I don't know how you feel about it, but if I were in somebody's district and they didn't do something about it, I'd be hunting somebody to run against them next time. We need to do something about it. Those citizens deserve a change.
Anybody else?
I think on that noise, the planning commission got in on it on a Hunter Ridge up on Three Springs. And you know, that guy's out of business. He sold his property. Didn't sell it yet. I think he sold it. But planning did something on the noise level. We have done nothing on the noise level down the road.
I'd like to address that, Chairman Richardson.
Go ahead.
The Hunter's Ridge thing was because he was trying to run a business that was not legal, had nothing to do with noise. As far as why they're not operating, he was trying to get an agribusiness license and it didn't work. And I think, the way I understand it, they're trying to come back again under a different name and possibly a different owner, but yet it had nothing to do with noise is why they're not operating. To address Commissioner Howe's thing on the dog issues, we do have a shelter issue that it will require money. That's the answer, is money to fix this. You're going to have to build another shelter or add on to the shelter. It will require money. That's the issue that we're having with the animals. The J-turns, that is a state issue that this city and this county has petitioned this state to do something. We'd like to see an overpass, millions of dollars that they will not put into us. Before we get anything like that, we will have to go through the venture of a J-turn, which is now on Air Park Boulevard in place. They think it works. I agree with Commissioner Howe. I do not want a J-turn, but yet that is the state's choice. We have petitioned them and also threw money at this to get a quicker answer. If you can turn the hearts and heads at TDOT, please do. The sound, it's a major issue that we all see, but according to the work that we did in previous work, there's not an answer for noise. We can say all we want that we don't want noise, but until our judges agree to prosecute or convict, we have an issue. It's a very difficult question. We all have empathy or sympathy with our friends behind the Red Barn. I wish we could stop it today. And there's very complicated answers out there that this commission has talked about, our law enforcement has talked about, as well as our attorney and the judges. We have not come up with that resolution. I'm not saying it can't, Commissioner Howell, I just don't know where it's at this moment.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Not, that's all we have.
Thanks for taking that.
So we're complete. We are adjourned. Did you need something?